Welcome back. You know, I knew I would get to this video, and here we are, talking about the Canucks. Canucks are a challenge to talk about. One thing that's interesting about the Canucks is they seem to play their best when expectations aren't that high. I look at the series against Edmonton last year, for instance, which I think raised the bar in terms of people's expectations going forward beyond what the Canucks could deliver. And they perform really well when nobody believes in them. 94, part of the reason the 94 run happened to the Stanley Cup final, nobody really believed in that team. They were down 3-1 against Calgary in the first round, and then they won 5, 6, and 7 all in overtime, and then off they went. Now, this Vancouver team had a very strong playoff run last year with Shilovs as the goaltender, and so there was an expectation. They did not meet that expectation. All of the vitriol seems to get placed on one player, which, all right, cool. It means if that one player wasn't there, apparently they'd be a cup champion or whatever. But the reality is the Vancouver Canucks fell off. And while you can point a finger at Pettersson, sure, I think there's a lot of blame to go around. I think there's a lot of blame to go around with the Vancouver Canucks. They went from 109 points last year, 50, 23, and 9, to 90 points this year, 38, 30, and 14. I'm not going to say they should have kept Lindholm. I'm not going to say they should have kept Zadorov. I don't think those contracts would have worked with Vancouver's structure. I think you'd end up with a salary structure that'd be completely out of whack especially with the Lindholm one. That wouldn't have worked. But it did leave holes in the roster that were never really completely addressed. And now there's more. And now there's talk about them needing another center. And what really makes my brain almost explode, like in the movie Scanners, is when I hear people talking about, well, they could move their first round draft pick this year and go out and get some help down the middle because this year's draft's not that good. If the Canucks trade a draft pick for a band-aid down the middle, I probably won't be happy. That this is a team that, and I've seen people say, well, they did do a rebuild. No, they sucked. This was a team that sucked for a while. They never actually did the rebuild because they never stockpiled draft picks. They never stockpiled prospects. They just weren't very good. And so they would try every summer to go out and get, free agents and now we're going to get in. So where we're at right now is a team that almost made the playoffs, and from all accounts it sounds like they're intending to make the playoffs next year. And so moves will be made with that in mind. So, yeah, more draft picks may go, more young players may go. Sure, because try it again. This didn't work the last 20 times we did this, but this time, All right, Quinn Hughes, their leader, their MVP, Quinn Hughes, the captain, absolutely remarkable season, though he did struggle with injuries. And I cannot imagine how difficult it is to be a captain when you've got like a split locker room as we saw with this team this year. 68 games, 16 goals, 60 assists, 76 points. His numbers are insane. Quinn Hughes' numbers are insane. Brock Besser dropped off a bit this year. 78 games, 25 goals, 25 assists, 50 points. 50. And yet, there are those in this market that say, hey, the Canucks should give him $8 million a year. Sure. I would be very scared of giving a player who had 50 points coming off of a career year $8 million a year. And I love Besser, but no. Garland, 81 games, 19 goals, 51 assists, or 31 assists, 50 points. Wish it was 51 assists. Garland's up next year, so it will be interesting to see what happens with him this summer and beyond. If the Canucks struggle next year, how early do we start hearing about Garland rumors? Connor Garland will be very attractive to a team at a cap hit below $5 million for what he provides if he becomes available. Jake DeBrusk, 82 games, 28 goals, 20 assists, 48 points. Very hot and cold season. That's what you get with Jake DeBrusk. But almost 30 goals. Yeah, worthy pickup for Vancouver. Pius Suter, 81 games, 25 goals, 21 assists, 46 points. Career year, and he's a pending unrestricted free agent as well. And Elias Pettersson, Elias Pettersson, because if I say Elias, that's the defenseman. Anyways, 64 games, 15 goals, 30 assists, 45 points. Is that good enough? No. But where do you trade him? For what? And then what do you get back? And that's the tricky part. Because At this point, I can't see anybody taking on that cap hit from Pettersson's contract. That's part of the reason why I don't stand here and rant and rave like, yep, it's not a great contract. You're kind of stuck with it. And you got to hope he plays his way out of this funk he's been in. So I wanted to highlight some players as well further down the scoring list. Dakota Joshua had an off year. 57 games, 7 goals, 7 assists, 14 points. Totally understandable. Not saying anything bad about him, but he might be a good bet for a bounce back next year. Ratu, 33 games, 7 goals, 4 assists, 11 points. There is definitely something there. I think he's a regular for them next season. Hedel, what is his status going to be come training camp? Is he going to be able to get past the swath of head injuries that he's had and the concussions that go with that? 15 games with the Canucks, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. I like Hedel. He's got to stay healthy, though. Lucas Carlson is not the name. Linus Carlson's the name we're looking for. 23 games. There's so many Carlsons in the NHL. 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points. And I think Linus Carlson played well. I think if he's on their fourth line this coming season, I don't think that's a bad thing. Lecker Mackey, I don't know if he's ever going to be a big goal scorer at the NHL level, but there's some skill there. He played 24 games and had 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points for the Vancouver Canucks. Their goaltending, Lankinen, 25, 15, and 10 record, 902 save percentage. By the end of the season, the numbers are, basically around league average. If you look at the advanced stats, he was around league average a lot this year too. And they did re-sign him, so he's not going anywhere. Demko, 10, 8, and 3, 8, 89 save percentage. Am I the only one that every time they talk about how it's good he's entering the offseason healthy and he's going to be healthy next year, that I can almost hear them crossing their fingers with that? Because I am. I'm hoping that we have Demko and Lankinen 100% healthy for next season, but we'll see. Shilov's 2-6-1 record, 861 save percentage. I think there's a debate to be had about whether or not Shilov's is going to be an NHL level backup goaltender, if he's got starter potential and that kind of thing. Tolopilo came in towards the end of the year and 1-1 with an 885 save percentage. Didn't look bad. I mean, the games didn't really mean anything that he was in, so you can't take too much out of him, but he didn't look bad. So if he ends up being the number 3 in the organization, I don't think that's bad either. Goal scoring dropped off for the Canucks. They were 23rd this year with 2.84 goals scored per game. Goals against, they were 18th with 3.06 goals against per game. On the power play, 15th at 22.5%. The penalty kill, 3rd at 82.6%. So the special teams were good. The defense, right around the middle of the league, they didn't score enough. And that is a big issue for this team going forward. Now, they have $16.72 million in cap space July the 1st, but they don't have a lot of wiggle room here because Besser and Suter are both leaving as free agents, or one or the other is going to get re-signed, or both. And if they did find a way to circle back with Besser and get that done, if they got Suter done, you have to think that would eat up almost every cent of the $16.72 million. If you go out and get 2 forwards to replace them, that's going to eat up a lot of that $16.72 million as well. But looking at their contracts, obviously Pettersson stands out with the $11.6 million until 2032. Outside of that, there aren't any bad contracts on the team. There really aren't. DeBrusk, $5.5 million till 2031. I mean, till 2031 may end up being bad, but other than that, it's fine. Garland, $4.95 million for 1 more year. Like I said, if they get off to a rough start, Garland rental rumors will be out there. Hedel, $4.44 million till 2027. The concussions make that a concern, but $4.44 million is all right. Quinn Hughes, $7.85 million till 2027. One of the best bargain contracts in the National Hockey League. And I do think that helps to offset, for all of the complaints about Pettersson's money, and I get that, I think the fact that Hughes is at below $8 million definitely helps. That's a huge bargain for the Canucks. Hronik, $7.25 million until 2032. At times, Hronik looks like he's absolutely worth it. Hronik has his struggles at other points. I think that contract's about right. Marcus Pettersson, $5.5 million until 2031. There's some risk with the Marcus Pettersson contract for the length of it, but for right now, I think that's fine from being a top 5 defenseman. Next season, Demko's up. He has a $5 million cap hit for 1 more year. I would be concerned about negotiating with Demko this summer. Even though there's a great risk, if I were running things, I would want to see how he starts next season and whether or not he is 100% before I'd be sitting down with him about a long-term contract extension. He's already said he wants to stay in Vancouver. He wants to sign an extension, but Is he really 100%? Lankinen, $4.5 million cap hit till 2030. Reasonable. Lankinen, that's good pay for a player. It seems like now that's the 1A, 1B kind of salary cap range. And so, yeah, Lankinen, right in line with a lot of other goaltenders who are in that 1A, 1B type situation. So I've talked about a couple of the free agents. We'll go through some others here. Forbert and Juleson are depth defensemen. You'd have to replace them. Di Giuseppe, I've enjoyed Di Giuseppe as a Canuck. He's a good foot soldier. I would think he'll go out and find another team to sign him and probably play fourth line and play in the AHL as well next season. The only restricted free agent of note might be Ratu, but even with Ratu, it'll probably be a 2-year bridge deal for him. I would think 1 or 2 year bridge deal. So the Canucks aren't in a position where they have to worry about like a big name free agent right now or a big name UFA outside of Besser, although Suter played his way into being a medium name, if not a big name, for this year's free agent market. So their general manager's Patrick Allvin. Many will say it's still Jim Rutherford. I think Allvin has the final say in trades and what goes on. I think Rutherford discusses things with him and advises him on certain things, but I do think Allvin has the final say in things. The coaching position is currently vacant. A lot of talk about whether or not Manny Malhotra might end up being the guy who gets the job. I'd be fine with that because I do like a brand new coach getting a chance to show what he can do at the NHL level. And he's done a very good job with Abbotsford, and he'd be familiar with some of these players from his time in Abbotsford and just in the Canucks organization. And Malhotra's been an assistant coach both. I think he's both at the AHL and the NHL level. I know he has been an assistant at the NHL level. So he's got some experience there. There are other names that are out there for the Vancouver Canucks as well. But it doesn't look good when you have your coach walking away rather than deciding to come back for one more year. And that's what they're dealing with. The Tocchet decided, I'm gonna walk away. I don't necessarily blame him. And that's the thing is that I'm not angry so much at people who leave, and I don't blame people for leaving, but I also, am willing to root for the players that stay and stick around. It definitely feels like the Canucks are going to try to get this back together. I don't know that they're going to be able to cobble together a top six that competes at the NHL or at the playoff level in the National Hockey League next year. We shall see. They definitely need to fix their center spot. I really think it would behoove the Canucks to try to find some way. There's a new general manager coming in for the Islanders. I'd love to see Bo Horvat back in Vancouver. I don't think he'd waive to come back to Vancouver. I think he's got a no-trade clause of some sort with the Islanders. But that's dreaming on my part. And I probably part of me wants to be able to wear my Horvat jerseys again in videos. But at any rate, the Vancouver Canucks find themselves once again at a crossroads. They made the playoffs, then they didn't again. And everything's kind of up in the air. Whoever they hire as coach has a very daunting job ahead of them. This is a team that I think overachieved in 2023-2024, especially early in that season, and then underachieved this year. So where are the real Canucks? Probably somewhere in the middle. The problem being this lineup's going to be probably pretty different to start next season than what we had to finish this season. And this team was already quite different than the team that was in the playoffs in 2024. So are they going to get further away, closer to? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.